Hi, welcome to Flourish. It's so good to be here live with you, connecting with you across the sound waves, across the ether. So, can we begin just in our hearts, breathing into our hearts, really landing in this sacred, juicy spaciousness of flourish? Breathing into your heart and releasing every single moment before this one so that you can fully receive these yummy codes coming in. Feel your heart opening, swelling in bliss. Enjoy that you are so present. Saying hello to your heart. Hello. Hey, beautiful. Maybe you want to place your hand over your heart. How long has it been since you really connected with your heart this way and just said, "Oof, I love you. You beat so powerfully. I flourish because of you. I thrive because of you, my beating heart." And for these next few moments, this next hour or so, I'm devoted to you. I'm devoted to you and I'm open to you, dear heart, to listen with my inner ear, to feel with my inner senses where you would lead me so that I may flourish. Deep, sumptuous breath in, feel your belly rise and your ribcage open and expand with the joy, the bliss, the life force surrounding you. Breathing all of that in, pausing at the end of that in-breath, really feeling it. And then when you're ready, exhale. Yeah. And when you're ready, just gently open your eyes a tiny amount, then close them, then open them, then half open them, and close them. Breathe in. And when you're ready, in a moment, you're going to open your eyes and you're going to say to yourself, I am ready. I'm here for these blessings. I am present to this sacred moment. Good morning, beautiful souls. Hello and good evening to those in the States and Canada. To those in Europe and the UK, it's the middle of the night for you, and I love you and I thank you for being here. Linda, I see you. So, what you've just done is primed yourself, opened yourself to the new frequency, whatever that is for you, right? Whatever that is for you. Because what it means to me and what it means to you is different. And that's where I'd like to begin. Flourish. What does that mean to you? You chose this masterclass because it struck a chord of meaningfulness for you. What is that? Just type it in the chat for me. Ready for expansion. I like that, Laura. Yeah. My fullest potential. I want to thrive. Yeah. Yeah. Potentiality, thriving, fullness, readiness, expansiveness. Ready to grow personally and with my business. Finding your truest state of authenticity. Oof. Yeah, that just landed. Release the blocks. Yeah. I'm ready to take myself and my gifts to the next level, to feel wellness, well-being overflowing. Spring bloom flowers flourish, feel flowing with health and well-being. Oof. Yeah. Jen, do you want to get really clear on what blocks in particular kind of come in the way, obstruct your pathway to flourishing? You can write it in the chat or not, but just be really clear so that you're clear in this time together. Transforming to the next adventure. Yeah. Yeah. See how one word sets this beautiful connection up for so many of us. And, you know, it's different words, it's different feelings, but it amounts to the same thing, flourishing. So one more has just popped in. Grow, flow, expand with ease, sing a beautiful peony rose opening. Oof, yeah. Feeling this, I'm so ready for this, is what I'm feeling. Yeah. Last night my time in prosperity codes, we really looked at the obstructions along our pathway and literally took a meander down the pathway, looked at the obstructions, what gets in the way for us fully reclaiming our birthright to a prosperous, richly blessed life. And it was interesting what I saw and felt coming up in the group. It was gorgeous. It was so heart-opening. And today, you know, we conclude this masterclass series today with Flourish because I could feel the threads from align to amplify, prosperity, and flourish. Prosperity I actually added in later. I just felt like that needed to come in, right? And I just felt like flourish was going to be like that final reminder, just for now, we can do more of these, but just for now, of that next yummy golden thread to reclaim, the next healing in our lineage. Because if we look at flourishing in terms of, say, thriving, that was one of the beautiful words in there, and we look at that as thriving, what does thriving mean? And can we look at the conditioning that's been around that? It's been some really powerful conditioning, really powerful storytelling around thriving. I want you to put in the chat some of the things you're conscious of that you were told about thriving. And you may have been told it actually, you know, with words, or that you've witnessed. And so your body was told it, your psyche was told it, your mind was told it in another way. You know, even if we just look at the allopathic medical system, it's not really geared toward thriving, is it? And flourishing. I'm right in the thick of it now. My husband had to go to hospital. We drove up from our beautiful farm in Denmark, 5.5 hours. He was in a lot of pain and not thriving at all, not flourishing at all. We weren't really knowing what was happening. Nothing was working. And he ended up in hospital Tuesday, and he's still there now. And he sent me a photo of the food last night and a photo of the food this morning. This morning, everything was in packets. Last night, it was mostly unidentifiable. So he said to me, I won't be eating this today. It was dead food in a hospital in 2022. Now, you know, you all know I don't go to doctors. I don't even have a doctor. I don't know, touch wood. You know, the last time I was in a hospital was probably 17 years ago. And that was an emergency cesarean, you know, from a home birth, ended up there. So nothing's changed from when my grandmother, my maternal grandmother, was working in the hospital making food. She used to fight tooth and nail for real food to be served on those trays. My beautiful nana. So we're not really geared in this society for full thriving. I want to read these. Let's take this in. So Stacey's written, it takes a lot of physical, mental, and emotional output to thrive. Oh my gosh. So, so the message there for me, I don't know what it was for you, Stace, but if I thrive, I'm going to be exhausted. It's going to be the opposite. If I strive to thrive, if I bring my conscious intention into thriving, I'm going to be depleted. So what's the point? I'll just hum along over here, maintain the status quo so everyone's comfortable. Laura, thriving was told to me to be lucky to have a busy job where there's a lot of work and stability. Okay, so again, lots of work. Create stability through lots of work. And this is the only path to thriving. Work hard, put in the hours, be a good girl, and then you might experience a bit of thriving. Another Stacey wrote, be happy and grateful for what you have. Others have less or naught. Yeah, nothing. For me, it was more my mum would tell me I wouldn't thrive or make it at all. Oh, Angelica, I'm so sorry. To be on the hamster wheel going through life, doing, not being. Oh, yeah. Masculine energies are associated with thriving. We lost that plea. Oh, sorry. Yep, that's hospital. Thriving is the full body and soul in harmony with everything around you, where you're settled and happy. I was taught, however, that you had to work hard to have everything. I never believed this. If it's difficult, it's not thriving. I don't think it was a concept I was exposed to until I was introduced to doTERRA. Interesting. Colette was also told to be grateful. A lot of people with nothing or less. Okay, so maybe you can resonate to one of those that haven't written it. The reason I read them out loud is this. Again, one word, a derivative of, say, flourish, just for this moment. And look how much is programmed into it. There's a comment there about gaining, to gain in wealth or possessions, to keep up with everyone else. It's a lot of pressure. This is a lot of pressure. How about if we dropped in for a minute? You know how you just dropped into your heart? How did that feel? Can I see some smiles if that was a bit yummy? Who's going to bring that into a daily practice or a weekly practice? Like if you don't bring it into a daily practice, you're going to forget about it. I'm going to be honest. You'll say weekly and then it just will never happen. But if you can just for a minute, even when you wake up, thank you, beating heart. Oh my gosh, I love you. It sounds crazy, but hello. Without the heart, we're not really here anymore, right? So can we just drop in like you did with the heart and drop into your body, the beingness of your body, just be fully present to your body and just block your ears. Just gently place your hands over your ears. Okay, come back to me. What did you just experience there? Go on, everyone, get those fingers on the keyboards. Tell me what you felt, what you heard, what you experienced. Does someone want to come off mute and share?
It was so peaceful. I wanted to stay there for the next hour like that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Stillness. So fun. My sounds of heart. My breath, heartbeat releasing. It was beautiful. All I heard was my breathing. I felt like I was diving underwater. Yeah. Body blissful, silence and empty, a void of peace, like a cocoon of love. Energy pulsating. Yep. Like a loving hug. Peacefulness. Yeah. Our body is a wonderland of bliss. Our body is constantly reminding us that we just need to become aware of how we are flourishing just by being. Your heart beats ceaselessly. She creates this symphony within you, and you get to write the words of that song. The song that is the story of your choosing. If you were to write a song to yourself, a love letter to yourself about flourishing now, knowing what you know, what would you write? If your future self that was already flourishing, thriving, wrote to you in the here and now, what would they write to you? For so much of our lives, we live in the past, which creates stress, chaos, anxiety, panic, freeze, exhaustion, confusion, self-talk, a litany of self-talk that is so dense that there's no way we can flourish with that kind of self-talk. When we live in the future, and I don't mean the future that I take you to or Joe Dispenza takes you to, summoning those gorgeous future memories. When we live in the future about worrying, about what if, what could be, if only, it's the space of if. If I did this, maybe this might happen. Oh, what if I just, what if I do this now and then that leads to these repercussions, and your whole body tenses. The face of who you are distorts. You lose your form. You lose connection with who you are. And that again is another place that you cannot thrive, you cannot flourish, you cannot love, because you're not present to what is. Flourishing requires you to be present to what is, to open your heart, so deeply. It's so simple to open your heart to and surrender to the universal currents coursing through you, to guide you more deeply into a life where you flourish, you open like that peony rose. A beautiful little bud opens, soft petals, face to the sky. You see? So knowing this now about the past and the future, what choice are you going to make? What choice will you weave into the song, the love letter that we just spoke of? What would your future self that is already flourishing say to you now? What love would they guide you with? Because love is at the center of everything. And most of you have worked with me, danced with me, woven with me for long enough to know that all I care about, all I live for is based, imbued with, brushed with that gorgeous paintbrush of love. I'm so clear. I know that so many people spend so much time on the eternal search for their life purpose, for their mission, for the answer to there's got to be more than this. Because they know that will lead them to flourishing, right? If I can just get beyond this, life will change, I'll soar. And I can tell you, hand on heart, you don't have to pay a cent for this. You don't have to spend any more energy on this, wasting your energy away, your vital forces. You are here for love. You are here, your soul came to experience the fullness of love. Humans are great at experiencing all the things, all the emotions, and there's such a huge avoidance of love. I don't know why, but in private practice as a psychologist, as an aromatherapist, as I go into the Akashic Records for over 20 years now, working with clients from that space, working one-on-one, working in my group settings, it's the same thing that comes up. It is the avoidance of love. Why is love so scary? When you know that she leads you down the pathway to truly flourishing. You become unutterably magnificent and radiant, literally, when you sit in the space of love. Simply sit in her arms. Be present to the love song she sings into every cell and every thread of your DNA. You alter the course of your life when you surrender to this. And in this space, actually, she reveals to you what gets in the way, what blocks you from whatever it is, or wherever it is you think you're going, whomever it is you think you need to be. She just shines a light on it all and says, if you just loved those parts of you, if you just loved those perceived blocks, they would dissolve as obstructions and instead become allies. Ask me how I know. Some of you know that Voice of the Goddess is my signature 6-month program, mentoring program, right? I didn't know if I was going to run her again this year. In all honesty, last year I thought, I think this is going to be a one-time magical offering. I really did. And then this year when she started singing into me, because I'm so dedicated to the moment, I'm so devoted to being a vessel of love, I spoke to her. She came up and we had a chat. And I said, okay, well, you know, what form would you like to take? How would this like to be? Are we shorter this year? Well, what she brought through blew me away and really confronted me. Because for some reason in my mind, I had it's okay to have in the on the landing page, like going through the elements, the 5 sacred elements, and you know the magic of Akasha, and people know there's some channeling in there that really know me well and whatever. But she brought through these 12 codes, and I was like, fuck, people are gonna think I'm like loopy, bringing codes in and talking about channeling, and you're killing me a little. I don't want them to think that for them to thrive in life and for them to just be who they're born to be, that they have to be like this. And she was just so patient. She was so patient. Anything you birth into the world is always part of you, right? So have an intimate connection with her. And these 12 codes I saw as part of the 12 threads, strands of our DNA. There are more. They multiply out and continue out. But I thought, okay, this is a good start. This is easy. I can go with this. She's like, well, don't just run away by saying 12 strands of DNA. That's not what this is, really. It's for everything. It's for every part. So in order for me to sit in the presence of the invitation for you all to flourish in that space, let's say with the 12 codes, 2 per element in Voice of the Goddess, let's say right here, right now, I need to walk the journey. For me, this is just what I prefer, to experience it in some way so that I can embody it. So that when I'm in your presence, I'm not teaching something. I'm not interested in teaching anyone anything. Not interested at all. I'm not here to teach. I'm not a guru. I'm not better than anyone. I don't know anything more than anyone else. But I tell you what, standing shoulder to shoulder with you all, that freaking lights me up. That lights me up. And you know, if we nudge each other into wakefulness, into remembrance, then all the better. And that's the way show a spirit. So in order for me to do that with integrity, I need to become the embodiment of whatever transmission I'm bringing through, or at least be on the path to embodying it. Agreed? So that's where your body is taking you. your whole self, your metaphysical self, your heart self. The heart will always take you into the space of embracing, embodying what is meaningful to you so that you live a more richly blessed life, so that your life becomes imbued with what is meaningful to you. This enhances your life. This is where you thrive. This is the difference between living conceptually in the mind and going beyond the mind. The mind is brilliant. Don't negate the mind, but there's a time where we need to go beyond the mind to integrate the gifts before us so that we can flourish, so that we can activate in the presence of love. And in that space, we see the path clearly before us and around us and even behind us of healing, of integration, of oneness. We heal what's been. We embrace what is yet to come from the quantum, from the realm of infinite possibilities. Someone mentioned, definition of thriving possibilities. Absolutely. When you go into the void, like we did for those brief moments in here, right? And you have with me in many other containers. When we go into the void, what happens? We become, as the magnificent Dr. Joe Dispenza says, no one, nowhere, in no time. We are no thing. We are beyond the 3D time-space continuum. Time and space is meaningless there. We literally dance to the beat of the cosmic heart there. That's what we're moved by. So if joy is our innate state, doesn't it make sense then to reclaim your birthright to living joyously, expansively joyous lives? If something isn't bringing you joy, release it, consciously let it go and let it morph back into love. Have no attachment to it. So if you reclaim your birthright to living joyously, you expand. You no longer oscillate so much between what was and what could be in the unhealthy relationship most humans have with past and future. And instead, you begin to embrace presence. Presence. What does presence mean to you and for you? If you opened yourself to being fully present to what is, to your beating heart. Remember when we did this? What you heard? You become fully present to your beating heart. If you were to do that, what would your life be like? Who would you be? Don't worry about the how of it. Let the universe handle that. In your limited mind, with all the programming that we have, the how will be answered in a very, very limited 3D way. Always. It's nothing to berate yourself for. But when you go beyond the mind, you go beyond the conditioning, you go beyond the presence of the overculture penetrating you with its beliefs, you go beyond all of that. You enter into expansiveness. You enter the void. You enter nothingness. And from that space, you can consciously begin to weave with those stunning silken threads, those multicolored threads of infinite possibility. And you weave a new life for yourself from future strands, from the quantum. You connect with the you that's already there. Instead of seeing ascended masters and angelic beings as something other than you, outside of you, better than you, more wise than you, how about if you saw them as future versions of you? Because we're all one. What would that be like? Just feel that for a minute. Let that land. What if you allowed yourself to see them, feel them, experience them as future you, the you that's already there? Just for a moment. And so when you come back to yourself, how do you feel now? Now that you're not giving your power away to anything outside of you, it's just part of you. Star beings, the Akashic Masters, the angels, the Ascended Masters, the Lords and Ladies, Lady Grace herself. And so we see in this moment of clarity, there is nothing in the way of us flourishing, living prosperously, embracing this succulent present. There's nothing that gets in the way of that. There's nothing obstructing our path except for ourselves. Hey, darling. There is nothing except ourselves that gets in the way. How does that feel? Does that take off some of the pressure? That pressure of building up, out. Like you can't move when there's that much pressure on yourself. You just can't, because it feels like you're going to combust. And you can't flourish when you're like that. You really can't. You can't be present to what is when you're fit to burst from the fear of just stepping forward. So, if you just close your eyes now and gently place your hands over your ears again. Before you do that, just hang on, listen. I want you to I want you to dive in to your inner world. Notice how much your body flourishes, and then go deeper. With those hands over your ears, your eyes closed, you're shutting down your senses, slow down your breath, go deeper, go deeper, go deeper. Listen to the song of the universe within you. Take yourself there. Feel how you can flourish by simply choosing. Okay, for the next minute or so, I want you to do that. Be present only to that. Okay, just gently taking your hands away, leaving your eyes closed, and just taking 3 deep breaths. Three deep breaths, really feeling it move through you. And when you're ready, open your eyes, just sit comfortably and come back. How are you feeling now? What did you connect with? How are you feeling? You feel free to come off mute. I'll just pop it in the chat, whatever feels right. Did you get a sense? Were you able to connect? That cosmic heart isn't outside of you. You know, it's beating through every single micro atom in your body. Yeah, so peaceful, like I was listening to the songs and rhythms, so much freedom, flow, and joy. Feels like I'm by the ocean, yeah, running along my own path and being full of joy. Gorgeous. Yeah, hearing and feeling your body vibrate, absolutely. So I want you to now invite yourself to living a life that actually brings you joy, fully brings you joy. I know some of you have a lot of joy in your life right now, but just in this moment, imagine your whole entire life, every facet of it, blessed with joy. What would that mean? What would need to change to bring that in? Some of those changes might be scary. It takes courage, which comes from the heart, courage, yeah? It takes courage to live in this way. It really does. It's so much easier to just go back to what we've always done, the past. It's so much easier to just go into the fantasy of the future, the what ifs, the if onlys. It takes a brassy boldness to be really present here in this sacred space, in the sanctity of you, sitting at the altar of your heart, being fully devoted to love, being fully devoted to you because you are love. What if you changed your devotionals so that they revolved around you, around your divinity? For those that work with plant allies, this is a really beautiful moment. You could drop in and, create a ceremony for yourself, some ceremonial cacao, a beautiful tea infusion. You put rosebuds in and, other beautiful roots, buds, leaves, where you feel, the ones you feel just have you so deeply go inwards, connecting with yourself. Maybe some rosebuds and cacao nibs and, spearmint leaves and licorice root. Steeping that and drinking that. And before you drink your cacao, your beautiful infusion, bring your vessel to your heart. And of course, you can infuse it with essential oils that you feel joyously expansive with and that you flourish with. It can be as simple as wild orange. Simple, but one of the most profound gifts in our aromatic kingdom, right? And you just hold that vessel to your heart and you become very aware of your intention to devote yourself to loving yourself, to sit at the altar of your heart and to really, really open your heart to seeing the path she sets before you and path to you flourishing. And you breathe intention by intention into your cup, into your vessel. And then you drink one intention at a time. It's a beautiful way that you can bring in ceremony. There's a couple of beautiful gifts in this, waking up and thanking your heart, or ending your day thanking your heart, your beating heart, creating ceremony for yourself. Maybe make a beautiful essential oil blend for yourself. I think most of you here work with essential oils. Those that don't, it's okay. If it doesn't resonate with you, or if it does, reach out. Reach out to someone you know, or to me if there's no one you know, and we'll help you receive these essential oils. There's nothing funner than getting oils into homes, cacao into homes, more bliss into homes, more joy into the body. Move your body. Get outside, go for a walk. Alter your frequency to be more embracing of the moment by moving your body. Throw on a really good melody. Pelt out, some rock star tunes with a pretend microphone. Pelt it out and dance and pretend you're Beyonce on the stage or Hugh Jackman, Greatest Showman, right? Whoever it is, doesn't matter. You just get in your joy. And by moving and singing or toning or chanting, you alter your frequency. You alter it. Yeah. You did that yesterday, Kat. Yeah, great. Yeah, you do. You need to shift. Yeah, like no one was watching. Good on you, babe. And just standing up and shaking your body, releasing. When you become aware that you are sinking into holding on to, going back to the stuff that doesn't serve you, move your body. Just deep breaths, active breath. Even just kids do it all the time so naturally. You see it, right? They shake, they move, they make sound. They don't care who's watching, who's listening. To them, it's the most natural thing in the world. And it is, because we dislodge the stuff that becomes the greatest obstruction. We dislodge it before it has power over us. Make sense? It's your path to flourishing. Daily, devotional to self. Yeah. I'd like to just offer some time up for anyone to come off mute and to share anything, to ask anything, to go deeper. I'm in the Akashic Records. You can ask the masters. I'm not in yours, I'm in mine. I don't invade anyone's space ever. But if you want to take a deep dive anywhere in this, we have some sacred space allotted to this. Mish says, I love that daily devotion to self. I'll make a practice of it. Yeah, great. Yeah. Imagine if this is what was taught to us. Yeah.
Hi, beautiful. I will
Hi.
I will say hi. I would love to say hi to you. Hello. What comes to mind, this life of joy that you're offering us the opportunity to embody. I don't really have any words. I've been working on some singing and the movement. Like, I don't know, today I've been getting up early and I've been going and doing and slowly trying to approach the new steps. Like you said, what would it look like? So I'm in a few containers. So I'm working at creating prosperity and wealth and abandoning. But when I confronted myself, a lot of density came up, like you said, and I couldn't understand what the sadness was coming from, and the anger started coming back, which I haven't had for a while, and tiredness because I was up early, and every time I kept sleeping, somebody kept interrupting me out of need, which was natural and okay. And like when I hear that your husband was sick, like my heart kind of jumps. And a lot of people have been telling stories of things that have been happening. So I feel a lot always. So I'll stop there just because I don't know exactly where it's going. So
So,
there's a
so
lot.
are you unraveling, my love? You don't have to come off mute. Are you
Oh,
unraveling that you feel you're taking on a lot of people's stuff that isn't your own. Is that what you're unraveling here? That you're sensitive, that you're an empath? Is that where you were going with that when you cut yourself
I
off?
I
Or?
think it's just a mirror. Like I just notice the all things. Like yeah, I do feel the collective, and it's hard to land. I'm like you said, if it's not joyful, abandon it. But in the container I'm in, she's suggesting that I don't go with my natural flow, la 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 la, that I sort of try to learn. So yeah, I was sort of swearing at the Facebook stuff and the technology because when I press the buttons, it doesn't let me flow. And so she's like, keep trying. And then he says, well, don't let that get in your way. But it's like I try hard to sort of go with what I'm the new way. Like the new way is maybe learning how to use technology, which is one of the ladies said, don't think of it as frustration. Think of it as you're just learning a new, like you're just learning a new step, like, and, or like a new language or something. But it's like if you go to try to speak in Spanish and you don't know Spanish, you don't have vocabulary, you're like, you can't communicate the love, right? So there's that. And the empathic part is holding steady so that I can offer, I can offer in the right moment. And there's been a lot of learning about that, about reaching and writing a lot to tell the people, wait a minute, let's be more love, let's include. And then I have to pedal back. It's like, nope, that's not my job. And just have to hold steady. That takes a lot of energy, or to move when it's time to move, you know. And then sometimes I fall away from my physical practice. Like today I was so tired. I wanted to go outside, but I just stared at the sun and the green, and I just pretended I was walking. It's not the same, but here I am. I'm with you. So I feel like that's okay. Like I can go for a walk later. So that it's just the balancing, like the nuances of figuring out what's happening. You say, well, don't figure it out, live from joy. That seems uh, like, how do you hold steady for others and do that? La la la, I guess is the question.
I understand. And I don't want to contradict whoever you're in containers with or anything like that. This is just what works for me, right? So I look at what's meaningful to me and I participate in that. I look at what brings me joy and what's fun in my life and I participate in that. And I look at what enhances my fields, expands me into deeper love, and I expand with that. Now, technology is not my forte either. I swear a lot at technology to this day. You know, it's just not in my DNA the way it is for some others. So instead of trying, I just stopped. I stopped trying and I just altered my relationship. And I said, I love you, I honor you, and I know that you're here to serve and we need to work together because me, every time I touch you and it frying, it's not working anymore. So how about I alter my frequency and my judgment around you and you just, dance with me a little and let's form a better relationship. It's literally what I had to say. I had to kind of talk myself into it so I could be present with being present with technology, right? So I'm not talking about spiritually bypassing anything. Thanks, Kath. Love you. I'm not talking, I'll see you in Voice of the Goddess, honey. I'm not talking about spiritually bypassing anything, right? That doesn't solve anything either. But I am saying this. There is so much indoctrination around the hard slog. Do it till you get it. And what I'm saying is how about we formed a new relationship with ourselves so that what we participate in brings us joy. It's the full-bodied yes I keep talking about. If what you're doing no longer resonates with you, then that needs to be looked at. If you're saying yes to jobs, holidays, outings, dinners, people coming over, containers, mentoring, if you just keep saying yes to all the things that aren't a full-bodied yes, then there's you have no chance of flourishing, zero chance of flourishing. Really, you might feel like you thrive for a moment in time. This is beyond how much money we make. It's beyond how many, our output, how many things we can put out to the world, how many books we can write, how many songs we can compose. I don't know how many canvases we work on, how many things we solve, how many problems, how many people we listen to. I mean, it's beyond all of that. This is between you and you and you, and your connection with the cosmic heart and being led from the space of love with everything you do. It is expansive, it is energizing, and she always helps us to find a way. What doesn't come from love comes from fear, right? So when we're in constant questioning of our life, why me? Why is life like this? Why is it showing up like this? God, I get a tight ball just even asking those questions. I actually felt my tummy go into a tight ball. I really did. It's exhausting. It really is exhausting. Yeah, Jenny's saying to Flourish, I had to take a step back and reassess. Yeah. You know, this is the thing, like, you know, when people come into big money, they win a lotto or they get a, you know, like a payout or whatever. They come into big money. And what happens is, or they get given a home or whatever, but when they get given money in particular, and they don't know how to be in relationship with the energetic frequency of money, it dissolves. When you don't know how to be in relationship with something, it just falls through like sand through your fingers. You'll lose the house, the money will go, the job won't work out because there's no flow between you and whatever that is. So rather than thinking to flourish that it's something outside of you, be that technology, whatever, think about it as something within you and go from that space. And the simple practice, honestly, from my heart to yours, of cocooning yourself in golden light. I cocoon myself in golden light every day. I bring an anchorage of light from Mama Gaia and from the cosmic heart down in through me, and I have them connecting above and below me. And honestly, I feel so differently. It's so deeply a part of my life. I don't even think about it anymore. It's happening before I'm fully awake. And you can call it, you know, the cloak of God, the mantle of the goddess. You can call it a force field of protection, whatever you like, it doesn't matter. And something my dad had me do, and this really helped me to flourish, it really did, doing that beautiful golden light and these threads. And something my dad had me do, because, you know, I get it, the empath energy and taking other people's things on, the good, the bad, the ugly, right? Was he had me imagine, you know what a boomerang is, those that are overseas, yeah? It's that kind of shape, and when it's spun out, it was used for hunting by our indigenous people of this land, and it was spun out to hunt, and it comes back to the hand of the thrower. So Dad had me imagine boomerangs coming at my beautiful shield of light and going back to the person that flung it with love. It lovingly returns to them. It's not mine. It's not mine to take on. It's not mine to be bombarded by or to be attacked by. If you do that, you're insane. What do you mean you're going to drop your work hours? What do you mean you're going to leave your job? What do you mean you're going to be an entrepreneur? There's no stability in that. What do you mean you're going to run a marathon? You're going to be a triathlete? What do you mean you're going to start dancing? You're old. It's not yours. Let them be boomerangs bouncing off the shield. And when you start doing it yourself, I don't have energy, I don't have time. Look at what's meaningful for you. And if it's meaningful, you'll create the spaciousness for it. If it's meaningful, it will usually bring you joy. That's what I'm talking about. There's a big difference between that and just smiling and pretending everything's okay. We're not bypassing anything. We are integrating, we are embodying, we are being the embodiment of all that we wish for, long for, desire. It takes it from being out there as wishes and hopes and dreams and prayers and brings it right in here. It sits at the altar of our heart. We bow to it. We're tugging on future strands to be ever more present, to create the life of our choosing. You understand? Yeah. And I feel like, thanks, honey. I feel like this is a big reason why we're all here together, you know, in this lifetime, to remember this. The codes that are coming through for humans right now are coming through because humanity is ready. They're ready for the new frequencies. It's not really new for our souls. It's our natural state. But the key is here, we're ready to embody them, to live more expansively. You understand? It's what's going to alter our lives. Not because someone's giving them to us, telling us, because we're being present to them. Does that make sense? Yeah. I've really loved being here with you all so much. For now, this is the last masterclass, but as I feel them arise, I'll create more and have more if you'd like that. We'll send the recording to you all. I want to just conclude by saying, for any of you here that feel a call to join me and the other women in Voice of the Goddess, I would love to have you there. Wayne, I'm sorry. This one's just for the sisters. And if you want to, you can message me and, reach out and feel her and have a chat with me. It's time. It's just, it's time for you to live richly blessed, to feel the tendrils of your future self and your present self magnetizing each other to each other. Yeah. If any of my past Voice the Goddess women would like to say anything, please do in the chat or come off mute. For now, Colette, did you have a question or something you wanted to share, sweetie? Yeah.
Thank you, Vanessa, for all of these containers. I think I've attended all of them and it's been beautiful. And this is all fairly new to me. And I was wondering if you had, something that's really resonated with me is that everything comes from a place of love. And I think you said in Amplify, and you reminded us about unconditional love and no expectation in all relationships. And that's something that's really, really stood out for me. And I loved what you said today about self-love and creating a practice of self-love so that we can actually flourish. What would be a good daily practice so that I could start embodying and experiencing this love?
Okay. So do you use essential oils?
Yes, I do.
Yeah. So there's a couple of practices. One is the golden shield of light around you. That's the pentultimate in self-love. You really connect with loving yourself because you're preparing yourself for the day. I gave an example of cacao, ceremonial cacao, or just make a cacao elixir, or the tea, the brewing yourself. Another thing you can do is take a bowl and place some carrier oil in it and some essential oils and aromatically dress every day. And as you dip, have you heard of that before?
No.
Okay. We need to put a link in the chat. Sam's had to rush off to hospital, my admin angel, this morning. I have my husband and my right hand angel both in hospital right now. There's huge stuff going on in the world. But if someone has it, other angels that are in my field and know about my YouTube with aromatic dressing, the one with the library behind it, just pop that in the chat for Colette. Otherwise, I'll send it out to you. So aromatic dressing was born as a self-love practice. It's beginning and ending the day. You bookend the day with loving, tender caresses from your own hands. So you take a little bowl, a couple of squirts of the fractionated coconut oil, say 2 drops of frankincense, a drop of patchouli, and 2 drops of wild orange, for example, right? Thanks, Linda. And you literally, after you've had a shower or bath, and you've towel dried off, you just dip and rub your hands together, start at the bottom of your body, and then work your way up in big circular motions. The lymphatic system doesn't have a pump of its own, so you're moving, you're working with that. Watch that video, it will show you everything. But as you are touching these parts of your body, you are telling yourself why you love it so much, why you're so grateful for it, how it enriches your life, how it blesses you. Yeah, that's a beautiful self-love practice. Does anyone else have anything that they do that you'd love to share? I go out in nature, that's very self-lovey for me, and I dance, that's another self-love practice. I chant a lot. I only put beautiful music. I'm very sensitive to sound, so it's a song of nature or gentle music. What else? Does anyone else want to come off mute and share anything? Playing crystal bowls, singing, moving your body, drumming. Yeah, it's different things.
Thank you.
Yeah, such a pleasure. It's a pleasure. I've popped in the chat the link for Voice of the Goddess. Please go in and have a look at her. Feel her. And if you feel like you're kind of like, ooh, 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 just reach out to me and let's chat. We can have a one-on-one Zoom. Or tomorrow, if you look in our Eventbrite, we have a beautiful Q&A, a goddess Q&A. It won't be a big group. There's just a few of us that'll be coming together, and you can ask me questions about Voice of the Goddess. We can go deeper. But in the meantime, do one of my goddesses want to come off mute and just share why she was yummy for you or how you use her in your life? I think Catherine's gone, but Linda, Laura, I can't see everyone on my screen, but do one of you want to share something?
Yeah, I'd
Laura.
like to, I'll share if I can. What I loved was it was like sort of towards the beginning of me learning more about this and learning more about the ways that, like, you tied in so much about the ways the essential oils and the plant kingdom works, but also how to connect in with all of like the galactic and into your heart and all of the opportunities, right? Like, I feel like what I was able to learn the first time around was what I was able to learn, right? Like, I feel like some people, depending on where you are in your journey, you're able to pick up different parts of it, right? But I loved that it was so much about coming back to my heart, coming back to trusting myself again when I have been told or learned or through conditioning the way that the world is, that I can't have things, or that I'm not good enough, or that it's not meant for me, or all those things that you get told that you do carry with you through life. And I found that it was just, each session had so much beauty and yummy goodness in it about love, finding your heart, trusting yourself, listening to the songs of your soul. And the way that you share it is such a beautiful way where, like, I never imagined people living their lives that way. Like, I always pictured it was that rat race, and like, you always, working for the weekend, and like, I can't wait for my 2 weeks of vacation a year. I'm just gonna live it up, relaxing on a beach, like zoning out of life, because you know what I mean? Like, that's so much the world that I believed, and that what you were able to show was just so much expansion on all the possibilities. And so many of the beautiful women were all at different levels. And so even just learning from each other in the group was such a beautiful, safe space to feel that, when, you know what I mean? Like, when you are, like, I was just very much stepping into that, not knowing. And there was just, you're held. You're just so held and so loved while you learn to hold and love yourself all over again. So I really loved that part about it.
Oh my goodness. So beautiful. Thanks, Laura. Yeah. Thank you. I'm so grateful you're able to bring yourself to that space as wholly as you did. And you know, we can only bring ourselves to the moment in the way that we can in that moment. And we just keep inviting ourselves to go deeper, to go deeper, to go deeper, to be more joyous. Yeah? Yeah, thank you. I love, Paul and I have done some retreats with Dr. Joe Dispenza. I love it when he says this. He says, and it stays with me always, love yourself enough to do this, to invest in yourselves emotionally, spiritually, physically. Invest in yourself. Sit at the altar of your heart. Don't spend time on things anymore. Invest in yourself. Lovingly devote spaciousness to yourself. Take that drum and beat it by your heart. Open your throat and just, let it sing out the frequencies that you're choosing to embody. Invest in yourself by choosing containers that resound with a full-bodied yes through you. Calibration occurs. Calibration occurs when you surround yourself with people, circumstances, and events that reflect the who you are choosing to be and the life you are choosing to embrace. If you keep staying with people and being around things and immersing in events and that don't sing into your heart anymore, you can only stay at that frequency. It's very hard for people at a frequency where you don't want to be. It's not so much higher and lower. It's hard to explain it, but let's just show that. So say you're here. This is your frequency, your vibration, your resonance, and everything in your life is here because that's where you were. But you've expanded into a new perspective, a new way of being. It's very difficult for them to come up there. They're not choosing to come up. They're not choosing to get in the lift and push penthouse suite like you have. So you've got to come down to meet them. And that's okay. That's okay. But you need to decide, is that where I want to hang out? In the basement? Or do I want to hang out with other beings in the penthouse suite? So be really mindful who you choose as your mentors, who you choose as your besties, the restaurants you choose to eat at, the food you choose to make yourself. Like, what vibration are you bringing into your food? What vibration are you bringing into the creation of your food? Remember, that's a big part of flourishing. You kind of need food and really good quality water and sleep to flourish. I could do a whole other masterclass on this, Choose your frequency. Choose your frequency. And you'll see in there, if Voice of the Goddess isn't a full-bodied yes for you, I don't want anyone who's not a full-bodied yes. If you feel your yes and there's something you feel that's getting in your way, meet with me, chat with me, reach out. I'm happy to always help. Financially, if that's the case, all of that, right? There is another container in there. Well, there are two. One is working one-on-one with me, but the other one that I'm thinking of is called Frequency. And the Frequency is a portal where we meet each month around the time of the full moon, as close to the full moon as possible. And it's beautiful. And you get to choose. You get to choose what you want to pay each month. There's 3 options. And we get together and we meditate. And you're around women who are choosing their frequency. You can calibrate to a new frequency in that space, right? So there's different ways you can do this. There's different ways you can be this. What are you choosing? Are you just going to keep doing, or are you going to choose to become the embodiment of all your being by sitting in the presence of who you truly are so that you can flourish. And from that space, you create a new legacy, a brand new legacy for this next generation that says, be in your joy. Live the things that bring you joy, rather than forcing yourself to be someone you're not, rather than forcing yourself to manage technology and blah, 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 when it's not even meaningful for you. Maybe all you really want is to know how to use Zoom so you can jump into the containers and comment on Facebook if there's a Facebook group. You know, maybe that's all you want. That's okay. Less of what someone else is telling you have to do and more of what feels good and right and wholesome and delicious and fun and expansive and joyous for you. What lights you up? If you're living that, you will flourish. Yeah, that's the end of my sermon. Okay. I'm very passionate about this. I'm so passionate. Paul will tell you that if something stopped being fun for me, if it stopped bringing me joy, I don't do it anymore. I don't participate in it. I just don't. It's too at odds with who I am and the frequency I choose in my life. It takes courage to do that, though. I literally just say, nope, not doing that. Nope, doesn't feel right. I won't go to certain places. I won't be around certain people. I just won't. I'm sovereign. So if you're sovereign and I'm sovereign, we get to choose. Don't let sovereignty be just part of your life and not all of your life. You'll end up in disarray. You'll just end up oscillating between this or this, and that leads to confusion and not making decisions. Indecision is another thing that can get in the way of flourishing, right? Indecision pulls you out of the moment. This is taking you into the past or the future. What if I do this and and you don't make a choice and you can't flourish in that space because nothing changes. So, for those that are ready to turn up the dial of your radiance, for those that are ready to reclaim your birthright, to live joyously, expansively, and true, to live your truth, to be in a container where we meditate, where you receive incredible DNA regeneration practices that you can use in your daily life, to receive channelings from the Akashic Masters, Lords and Ladies, where you get to remember how to read your own Akashic records. For those of you ready for that, click on the link in the chat, save it, and say yes to Voice the Goddess. Feel your full-bodied yes and come dance with me. I'm very clear, I only want the courageous woman who is following her full-bodied yes, who is willing to live the path of her heart. This is an intimate group. It really is. Because I'm so clear on the women I want to journey this with. So clear. I'd rather 10 women who are a full-bodied yes than 100 women who are just oscillating between I think I should do this. No. Yes to being this. Yes to embodying this. It's powerful not because I'm leading it. It's powerful because you say yes, a full-bodied yes. And it doesn't matter where you are on your path. If you think you're a beginner, if you're not, you're one with the cosmic heart. This is just about remembering now. And she's changed form from last year. She's changed form because I'm so different. I have changed. I'm not who I was. And yet I am. Because my soul is vibrant and light and eternal. I've just remembered more. I'm not so shy anymore to be who I am. And so I lead that way. I lead myself that way, I'm talking about, yeah. I lead myself into fully embodying that. So shoulder to shoulder, we sit, we stand, we dance, we thrive. May you flourish today, tomorrow, and always. May the energetic frequencies of this glorious immersion bless you, bless me, and bless the multitudes today, tomorrow, and always. I love you so much. Thank you for being here with me. Give Sam some time to send this recording out. Yeah, I don't know how long she's going to be in hospital for, but she'll get it out when she can. In the meantime, private message me. Don't bother emailing Sam, I won't get it. Just private message me. If you're on Facebook or otherwise, let me get to the chat. See, that's me with technology. I think I just did something funny there. So here's my email, my private email. foodalchemy.vj@gmail.com. Otherwise, of course, just Facebook or Insta or wherever we're together talking, and message me. And I'm happy to jump on a 10-15 minute discovery call or however long you need. Doesn't need to be long though, just so you know for your day. And let's uncover where the voice of the goddess is for you and you for her, and you're ready for this. Yes, Bonnie, I'll see you there. June 11th is when we begin. So yeah, we kick off with explosive joy. Yeah, I loved you. Yeah. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And thank you for your beautiful words, Laura. Okay, bye, my loves.